After suffering a mild calf strain in Game 5. Despite the loss of KD, Steve Kerr still said the team is in a great spot with Game 6 tonight in Houston. Let's take a listen to more of what Kerr said about KD.
Yeah, I think it's good news. Calf strain, he's had them before. He's responded well. And obviously we're disappointed he won't be able to play in this series. But if we're able to win the series and move on, it looks good for his return, in the not too distant future. Well, we'll just find somebody on the bench who can give us 35 points, and 2 blocks and 11 boards and 9 assists. He's been the best player in the NBA in the playoffs. He's been phenomenal. And it's obviously a huge loss, but our team has a lot of confidence. They trust each other. They've won championships together. So we come out and we give it our best shot.
All right, Chris Broussard still with us. Look, it could have been a lot worse with KD, but right now he is out. So who wins the series now?
I am sticking with Golden State. I'm going to say they do it in 7, but I wouldn't be surprised in the least bit if they get it done tonight. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned yesterday that KD was a luxury, right? Mm-hmm. A great luxury, not a necessity. Beyond that, he was a crutch that look, if we don't play our best, we got KD. When things aren't going right, we can always go to KD, and he's going to deliver us. Mm-hmm. He can get his shot off whenever he wants. Nobody can stop him, so on and so forth. And that can lead to a little bit of complacency. Mm-hmm. And so I think without that crutch there, they know they have to be on their A game, and they have to play terrifically. I said yesterday as well, they're 29-4 in 3 years with Steph and no Kevin Durant. Guess what that averages out to over 82 games? 72 wins. Sound familiar? What? 73 in the regular season without KD. So this is still a great team. Andre Iguodala has turned back the clock. He's playing his best ball of the season. Draymond Green is playing his best ball of the season. And I know the depth is an issue because Andrew Bogut especially can't really be a part of this series because Houston's going small so much. I think he'll be fine if they advance in the next round. But Houston doesn't go deep either. That's the thing. They got 6 guys playing 20 or more minutes. Shumpert's getting a few minutes. Daniel House, they're not playing Gerald Green. They're not going deep. So, and they're going to have to chase around a more mobile, if you will, Golden State offense. Right. So I think that can wear them down a little bit. And finally, these 2 games, if it's 2, they are huge for James Harden and Chris Paul's legacy. Especially Chris, because he's older, and this could be pretty much the end of his prime. Harden obviously will have times in the future where he can, change the narrative. But at this point in his career, if they don't win this series, then it is going to be a serious mark on both of their legacies for right now, and we'll see how they stand up to that pressure.
I'm sticking with Golden State. I picked them in 7. I'm going to stick with them going 7, and I said this to Skip earlier. Would I be shocked if Golden State won in 6? No. Considering how James Harden comes up small in the most meaningful of ball games? No, absolutely not. We forget that this nucleus, their starting 4 now, went 73-9. This starting 4 won a championship. Andre Iguodala was the Finals MVP. Steph Curry is a 2-time MVP, league MVP. The last time he won it was unanimous. I think we forget that just how good this team was. What Kevin Durant did for this team, he made them unbeatable in a 7-game series. That's what he did, because they were already a great team. You don't win 73 games and not be a great team. Not have got and now that KD's out, basically they're probably going to start Kevon Looney. Yep. Well, basically when they won the championships, they started Andrew Bogut. So maybe Looney can't give you defensively what Bogut got, but he's more offensively.
He's fine.
Yeah. So don't be surprised. It was like a burden was lifted once KD went out. They didn't want KD to get hurt, of course not, because they know that virtually guaranteed them a title. But it gave Steph and Clay the ability to not have to worry about whether they were ticking KD off by taking too many shots. Because now they don't have anybody to worry about. What they gonna do? Looney think he gonna get 15 shots now? Draymond gonna get an extra 8 shots? Iggy? No. But watch how the ball moves tonight.
Okay.
Watch how these picks get set tonight. So, James Harden, you better be on your best behavior. And see, I'm going to disagree. Look, I don't believe Chris Paul is in his prime anymore. We hadn't seen that Chris Paul for a long period of time. But James Harden is not going to get any easier because what historically great player that's playing now going to want to play with that? That dribble, step back, dribble. No. Who's going to play with that?
Well, their team is pretty much, I mean, we know Daryl Morey moves around and might change things, but they're not getting rid of Chris Paul.
They can't.
Yeah, that contract.
Yeah, that's his contract is the only contract that's worse is John Wall's. Both of those, you eating those, bro. Them goofball contracts, you gonna look goofy eating them.
You love that goofball.
Today, that's your word.
Yeah. This week, it's his word. Right. New word of the week.
You also about that one? You also about this series?
I'm picking Houston
I
to
gotta
win
hear
both
you make
Game
your
6
argument.
and Game 7, only because I picked them to win before the series started, because I will bet not one drop of dew on either game. I don't trust either game. And I'm with both of you. I will not at all be surprised if it's over tonight. But this is interesting to me about the man you guys were just talking about, Kevin Durant. Is he the cake or the icing? Is he this, But here's the point. It shocked me that Steve Kerr has already ruled Kevin Durant out of a potential Game 7 with a calf strain. Because to me, today's medical is so advanced that if you have that much time, if you have
Sunday.
You go all the way to Sunday, so how many hours?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Okay, so if you have 24-hour heat and ice and stim treatments, the electrostimulation treatment, and deep tissue massage, if it's strained, it's probably in some kind of spasm where you have the muscle spasm.
Release it.
It'll let go. It'll just magically, I know this, it'll just let go. And all of a sudden you say, wait a second, I'm okay. Steve Kerr is showing no fear, no desperation. He's basically saying, let's just shelf Kevin for the conference finals. Let's just make sure we don't have to have Kevin for Game 7. Now, again, maybe they're just saying that, and maybe he would make a magical entrance.
Okay.
You gonna pull a Willis Reed on us?
Maybe. But it seemed to me like Steve Kerr's like,
you hear that, Houston? That's like, we don't even need Kevin Durant for you bums.
That is correct, because they saw up close what happened to James Harden when there was no Kevin Durant, and it's his game. Here, this is your game to win, right?
Yes.
And what did he do? He disappeared in ways we've never seen him disappear. He usually just flames out by going 0 for 5 from 3. This time he just said, I'm not going to shoot. I'm just not going to shoot. I'm going to stay out of harm's way this time. And again, you're right. His legacy is teetering tonight, and if, in fact, they get to a Game 7, but especially the closeout Game 6 at home, because we've seen him just epic fail in closeouts. Closeout 2015 at Golden State in the conference finals. He had an NBA playoff record, 12 turnovers. In that game, he shot 2 for 11, 0 for 3 from 3. And then the classic game, the worst of all, was the 2017 against my Spurs, Game 6 at Houston. There's no number 2 and no Tony Parker, and they lost by 39 because he scored 10 points, 2 for 11 from the field, 2 for 9 from 3. It was just 6 turnovers.
And to me, the most telling stat in those 2 games you mentioned was 11 field goal attempts.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, that's it.
11.
Okay, so he's just not going to shoot it. How about last year? They're still up 3-2 with no Chris Paul after they lost him in Game 5. So you got 2 games. You got one at home and one at Golden State to win, to advance, right? To go to the finals. And what did he do? He shot 6 for 25 combined from 3 in those 2 games. It's horrendously. He shot 2 for 13 in Game 7 at Golden State from 3.
If you remember, if we go all the way back to when they went to the finals and he was in OKC, he had that tremendous Game 1. You remember
did.
from Game 2 through 5?
He was there was a wanted poster up for him.
And I had given him a pass on that because he was so young.
Right.
I got it.
But it does seem to be a pattern. And if he comes up small and they lose, imagine next season for him. He could average 34 points and do all this that he did this year,
It don't
and
mean
none of
nothing.
it's going to matter.
He's going to go down in stone if he flames out tonight as nothing but a regular season wonder, right?
Yep.
Because he's just shown you again and again. And I told Shannon earlier, what I love about the NBA playoffs, especially in 7-game series, they either reveal or expose your basketball backbone. Who are you really, James Harden? And tonight is the night for him at home with no Kevin Durant. You're a 7.5-point favorite.
Right.
Are you open to say? I think it's gotten bet down to 7 because a lot of people are saying, I don't know. A lot of in Houston right now, they're fearing the beard for the wrong reason because they're fearing what he might not do tonight.
Right.
He better come up big. Better come up big.
And the flip side of that is Steph's legacy. His post-game legacy is on the line. You still make a case that in 2015 he should have been the Finals MVP. Iggy was. But he's not had great moments. And he had a really great one the other night to position them to do this tonight, right?
Yep.
So this is going to be
the
his
last 16, 17 minutes of that ball game, he went bonkers.
Yep.
It was big time.
Remember what he was on pace to do before Kevin Durant went there. I know they lost that finals, but that regular season, I had never seen. You had Allen Iverson talking about, I've never seen anything like this. When he averaged 30, was unanimous MVP.
Yeah.
Tim Legler, who we worked with, you know, who I have great respect for his knowledge. I think this was an overstatement, but he was talking about he could be one of the best 3 players of all time. I mean, but that's how dynamic he was. And let's see if he can recapture that. Because none of those guys are old, other than Iguodala. None of them are old. They're older.
Right.
So the question is, are they still as good as they used to be? And can they be? So we'll see.
I just have a feeling they feel real good about themselves going back there tonight.
They feel real good about who they're playing.
Yeah, they do. I don't think they believe in James or fear James
But I was
at
just
all.
thinking,
Yeah.
why would they?
No.
At this point.
And remember, they went there on
March
13th. No Kevin Durant, and Steph and Clay just said, watch this. And it was a close game, but they won it 106-104. Okay?
This has to be one of the biggest games in Harden's career, right? I mean, those fans are
I
He's
think
had
it is-
several, but yeah.
But I say this is the biggest.
This is the biggest.
Yep.
If they don't get it done.
You're either going to atone or you're just going to reinforce your regular season wonder reputation.
Well, he goofed last 6 and 7 last year. What
Yeah,
about,
those were
what about
big.
that game 6 against San Antonio?